Hey guys, welcome back to another Origins of Origins video. Today I have Thare with me, so thank you for joining me, Thare. How you doing?
Yeah, bro, thanks for having me. I am doing fantastic. For you?
I'm good, thank you for asking. So I kind of like to start by just kind of seeing where you think you're at with when it comes to playing Origins against the rest of the team. So how do you think you line up against the rest of the guys and girls on the team?
Oh man. Um that's a juicy question. So, I don't want to say anything too direct other than I got a fancy sweatshirt for being top 8 at the 2025 what we call Yule Brawl, which is basically just like a internal before the holiday break tournament that we do.
Okay.
And sometimes we invite some like friends of the brand too as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't remember where I landed there other than I got top 8.
Okay.
I probably got 8. So
Yeah,
if
that's
that
not
says
bad
anything.
though. I mean, I've been honestly
Best but
hearing
not the
some
worst.
slander. So top eights, I don't know if I think maybe Fenchurch said he plays pretty well in one of those tournaments, but I didn't hear about any cool
Okay.
sweatshirts he had. So I don't know.
Yeah, he probably just forgot. I think he got top 3. So
Oh, okay.
he's
No, yeah, he's
yeah.
definitely a good player, but I've also heard the game, like the, I don't know what the term necessarily was, but like the devs themselves who kind of work on like the mechanics, they're generally the best. Do you think that's pretty true?
Yeah, so we have like yes. So we have two guys who are on the team that are like basically pro level Magic players.
Okay.
So
Wow.
like they've been on the pro tour. They
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of the card designs. Yeah, they kick some serious tail. They're very good. And then we have a couple of other folks who are also very good that work on the product engineering side
Okay.
as well. But
Gotcha.
yeah,
Nice.
the two
Well,
designers are the two guys to beat
okay.
almost always.
I'll have to get in contact with them once I've practiced a little more and I'm more confident, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm
We've actually talked about doing like having them come in and like doing some events where it's like just try to beat them basically, or doing
mhm.
a tournament where they're like the final boss,
Okay,
you
yeah,
know?
that'd be cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds like fun. All right, well, we'll hop into some games here in a second, but I'm kind of curious what your preferred deck is here in the demo. What do you think you'll probably be playing? You could talk about those if you want, but also what's your preferred, I forget, I don't know really what to call it, but like strategy, I guess, or what's your mechanic that you like playing around in Origins?
Yeah, so generally for me, I always played like I loved Mage and Hearthstone, and then I loved Blue in Magic.
Okay.
So I personally enjoy spell decks and decks where you have to plan for like many turns,
Hmm.
and most of the time they're not creature focused. So like, my deck of choice, which I haven't even unlocked yet in like the proper demos because I've been so busy with other things,
hmm
um in the demo is definitely the Merlin like spellcaster deck. Like that would be the one that I'd play every time.
Okay.
If I'm not like trying to sweat and like only try to like top one, like I'm just
hmm
playing that. And I usually play that way. Like usually I just try to play against myself in the sense that it's like even if a deck is good enough to be playable at all,
hmm
I'm playing it. Like that's
Yeah.
just what I'm gonna play. Even if it means that that choice does not means I don't win, like I'm chill with that.
hmm
So
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
kind of the same way with like the movement aspect of it. I like the, I guess you could call it like skill expression, but just
Yep.
having it be less straightforward, less like obvious what you do. You can kind of move the
Yep.
cards around and like surprise some people. I love that aspect as well. So I get what
Yep.
you mean for sure.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I guess I'm gonna. But for today, I'm gonna play Snipe because it's all I
Oh
have.
no, you don't have any dev tools to
I've
unlock it for yourself.
No, there's no cheats in this. Like I can't.
Oh wow.
Normally, I'd be like, yeah, dude, I'll just unlock some cheat. Like I'll pull up the cheat menu,
Play one cough
break
John Henry
everything.
against me.
In the Yeah, in the live builds, that to my knowledge does not exist. So I can't even do that. So here
Okay.
we are, dude. I'm just gonna. And if that means you're gonna kick my butt, then that is what it is, dude. I'm fine with it.
No, honestly, I think the snipe deck is pretty good. So it's like, a little more straightforward, but I think it's
Yeah, so you're
strong.
saying
So
there's a chance. Yeah,
definitely a
cool.
chance. Yeah, I think it's top 3 or 4 decks in the
Yeah.
the demo. But
Okay, nice.
yeah, so I think you definitely have a chance. Yeah, I want to get into your role with Coin a little bit more. So how did you get started with Coin? Because that's kind of a unique job for sure. I
Yep.
know some people started kind of on like the Web3 side of things, but yeah,
Yep.
what did that look like for you?
Yeah, so to keep this as concise as possible, um, I'm not we have a lot of industry veterans like from gaming on the team.
Hmm.
I do not fit that. I'm not in that bucket. Um, I so my role is to work on um, marketing and collecting. And so what's inside of our packs, like basically the entire everything end to end on the collecting experience, I tend to touch. And so that's like everything from like what does the art of some of the cards kind of look like and
Hmm.
giving feedback on that to the art team, to how does pack opening feel, to what's the pull rate of the rarest card in the collector packs, to so I work on that stuff. And then at the same time, um getting people to discover you know the game.
Hmm.
So those are my main two things that I work on. And then to answer how I got here, um yeah, some people may know that, like, may or may not know this, just depending on when you come and listen. But we've always had a vision to make a game with items that players could buy, sell, and trade, right?
Hmm.
And that was true even before we were making a card game. Now, obviously, we've been making a card game for quite some time, and in the context of a card game, like buying, selling, and trading, especially in physical, is just like part of the game experience. And so prior to us making the decision to put our economy, the ability for players to buy, sell, and trade their items on Steam, we were gonna utilize blockchain in order to, make it so players could buy, sell, and trade those items, and so that everyone in the economy would know who owns what, all those kind of things. And so all that to say, I initially started out um, joining the team to help on the the blockchain side, specifically, you know, relationships, business development, like getting the right talent in so we could build that
Hmm.
build out all the tech side and everything that we need to make that work.
Hmm.
And then yeah, slowly over time transitioned into what I'm doing what I'm doing now.
Hmm.
So hopefully that's the short of it.
Hmm.
Um on that side. So yeah, not a game guy, and not a game guy in the sense that I haven't been making games for my entire career. I've
Hmm.
always loved games, loved games,
Hmm.
potentially too much, and wanted the opportunity to take a swing at working on one. And I'm sort of like right place, right time. Um, I've had the opportunity of working on a product as cool of ours. Um, yeah, started started with Web3, and now that we're on Steam, even more excited about the direction that we've taken um, with the trading and marketplace
Yeah.
for Origins.
Yeah, I
So,
think from when I joined, you guys were always pretty clear about like just being interested in the collectible side of things. Um,
yep.
and I that was always what was interesting to me about Web3 stuff, but I definitely support the transition because similar to how we've seen with like AI, where people kind of get a bad taste in their mouth, um,
Yep.
and as soon as they hear anything about that, they just disregard the entire product. Um, yeah, that same thing happens with Web3. So
Yep.
yeah, I completely understand.
There's there's that side, and then there's also like the practicality and the expense like required to build that entire stack too,
Mm,
right? Which is more of just like a from like a team and internal and just like positioning perspective. You have to figure out like, okay, what are we actually trying to achieve here, right? Do we even want to build out this entire like infrastructure like layer and invest in doing that, or do we just want to make a fun game that's doing something unique and interesting and not have to like deal with all the rest of that stuff? And ultimately we decided that the former, we just want to make a cool like a game that has like the first true digital collectible tradable card economy,
mm-hmm.
and to focus on that rather than all of the other stuff. Because there's a world where we build all of that on our own and we put it under the hood, so nobody's like really, the quote brand stigma that comes with Web3 isn't really realized.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we quickly realized that like that wasn't really the
Very,
goal,
yeah,
for
it's
us.
not
It
very
just didn't make
efficient
a lot of
when,
sense.
yeah, Steam can do that for you without even needing to
Right.
touch any of that. So yeah, it makes complete sense for sure. Okay, well, I'd love to get into more of the collection side of what you do and like how that
Yeah.
works. So I guess I'll start with a basic question with the when it comes to the artwork and stuff. What is some of the cards or what's some of the artwork that you're most excited about? Is it, specific cards or do you like the commanders?
So I work mostly on the card side at the
Okay.
moment.
Hmm.
Um, I think there's a lot of really cool stuff that we're kind of like playing with. Um, keep it like super high level on this because there's a lot.
Hmm.
There's like two things that jump out at me. One of my favorites is just like we're working with some really cool artists. Specifically, and hopefully I don't get like I can't shout everyone out, so
Hmm.
I always hesitate to do this. But there's a guy named Raul Trevino, um, that's worked on a few of our cards. Um, we're planning to continue to work with him. Um, he does this like 90s anime style
Hmm.
that is like very Sailor Moon esque, and
Hmm.
you guys have probably seen a bunch of his work already, like on like Snow White and Rapunzel and etc. Um, I I'm a huge fan of his work and pulling that into uh, things that make sense for Origins, and so I would say that those cards in particular get me very very excited. And then the other thing I think that gets me personally, so that's like a specific art style
Hmm.
that is just like the one that I think is awesome. We have a ton of others that have turned out like really 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 cool. But on the collection side, the other thing that gets me most excited that we're doing that is like truly unique that no other card game has done is grading in digital
Hmm.
and working on that from like all the different problems that you have to solve like from a player experience perspective. One has been like really fun and rewarding, and the fact that we're doing something that's like truly unique, um I love. And I can't give necessarily any specific details around like, okay, what does a grade mean? All I can really say is it's not going to be like an arbitrary just like number we slap on there. Like it
Hmm.
is going to have meaning to the visual of the cards. And what we're doing with that gets me like very excited because one, it hasn't been done before, but two, I also think it just makes sense for what we're doing. And so getting to work on that in detail has been um am- absolutely, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And it adds this flavor to a digital card game, this layer that just hasn't really existed before, right? Where it's
Mm-hmm.
like the only thing that we have really to compare it to is the Counter-Strike like float system, if you're
Mm-hmm.
familiar with that.
Yeah.
But basically there's differentiation between items in an individual category, right? So my Snow White, that is like a secret alternate art, which is in Raoul's art style, is going to be different than yours
Mm-hmm.
unless they both grade exactly the same, right?
Right.
um which is awesome, right? We see that in physical, but we haven't seen that in digital in a card game,
Mm-hmm.
like, to my knowledge, um ever before,
Mm-hmm.
um on like the what I would call like the main stage, especially of gaming. So that I think is freaking awesome. And then obviously we have so many other things that we've got cooking on the collecting side, but I would say, like, just to recap, the two things that I personally get super amped about is like pulling in really, really talented, cool artists to do unique styles of our characters in game, and me just shouting out Raul because his resonates with me a lot is amazing. And then deciding, like, okay, how rare do we make those cards? That's been really fun
Mm-hmm.
and, and a unique experience. And then grading, but grading definitely takes the cake, just because, like I said, it's new, it's novel, and it is really fun as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm really excited for just everything that you guys have done, like with the collection aspect. It's all super interesting to me, and I just love, even I find myself kind of wanting to get random cards, like physical cards that I've never even thought about playing before, just because I think the art's cool. So the fact that you guys have
Yep.
like knocked it out the park with the art, with the collecting, with the game itself, the competitiveness, I think just on all fronts. Just to glaze you guys really quick, it's just really well done all around. So yeah, I'm super excited for it as well. Don't want to take too much of your time here, but I am interested. I don't know a ton about the pack opening experience. That I would say is one of the things that have been little under wraps.
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
the like God pack kind of reveal on Twitter. I maybe will throw that in a video or something, but that was super cool. But is there anything more you could tell me about like the pack opening experience, since you are, one of the guys who work on it? Or
Yeah. So I think, like, yeah, I mean, I can obviously I can't show you any of it, but I can
sure,
definitely talk about it.
yeah,
Um, I mean, I think the video that we've published gives you a pretty good taste of, like, directionally where we're heading.
mm-hmm,
I think we're also going to be constantly iterating on it, even post, like, launch.
mm-hmm,
Um, and we are obsessed with, like, making the most interesting pack opening experience that we can in digital with the tools that we have. I mean, because I wouldn't say I'm like a huge pack ripper myself.
mm-hmm,
Um, I definitely am massive into collecting. Um, but we all know most of us have ripped a ton of physical card packs, right? And the way that we think about pack opening is just like, okay, what are the moments when you're opening a pack that make it, like, very exciting and fun, right? Like, we're
mm-hmm,
really looking to get the essence of the fun of, like, ripping a pack open and pull that into digital as much as we can, right?
mm-hmm,
And the way that I describe that is just like there's these nuanced, like, pattern, what I call like pattern interrupts, like, in the physical pack opening experience, where it's like you catch a glimpse of, like, there's this build up to the end of the pack, right?
mm-hmm,
And then there's, if you hit a god pack, like, obviously the experience diverges, like, pretty dramatically at the beginning. So we're going to be doing things like that, but then also just like subtle signals that, like, you want to pay attention to this pack versus the other packs.
mm-hmm,
Um yeah, and then also making sure that when you get something that's exciting, that it feels exciting relative to the rarity of the item,
mm-hmm,
and that's celebrated in a way that feels like our game world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and gets like incrementally more exciting as you pull something like super rare, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's you know a little bit amorphous and more like principle driven, but yeah, I mean like we're gonna like there's gonna be awesome animations, like subtle like Easter eggs for people who open like a lot of packs for you to like see that there's something like potentially more interesting in the pack. Like those are all the types of things that we talk about and plan to implement, and
Mm-hmm.
all of it is rooted in just opening lots of physical packs and like meticulously dissecting that experience and what makes it fun and why,
Mm-hmm.
and then applying it to our game in digital,
Nice.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm super excited for it. So, just to quick question based on that last part you said, does that mean
Yeah.
for part of your work you get to sit there and rip some physical packs and kind of figure out what you
I
like
just
about it
go
and what
into
you
the
don't?
studio. Yeah, no. Yeah, so the studio doesn't buy any of my card packs, but we definitely it is a multi-pronged like process as far as like experiencing and then what I would say internalizing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which basically is a fancy word that means like I experience it and then I sit and I think about, okay, what made that fun and interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Why? And then how can we take that and pull it into Origins? And then so you do that yourself, but then you also watch other people do it too, and you look for like the moment as they're opening the pack where they have like a visceral reaction, you
Mm-hmm.
know, um, and what those look like, right? So it's equal parts doing a lot of opening yourself, but then also just like to be honest, like going on social media and watching
Mm-hmm.
people hit a god pack, watching people hit a card that they were looking for, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like all those different things, and then picking up on the and looking for like those individual moments and what those signals were, so if it's like um and what makes it exciting and trying to not copy those because you can't really do that. Like we're not kidding ourselves and thinking that we can like one to one physical, but it's taking the principles from that and seeing how can we pull that into what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's all super exciting. I'm just gonna need you to not do your job too well because I do have some of those alpha edition packs and I want to hold on to them. I don't want to open them all. So if you make it too addicting, I'm just gonna rip through them. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm super excited to get my hands on those. So you guys are doing a
Well,
great job for sure there.
I'm a sealed guy myself, right?
Okay.
So there's a world where I open very few of our packs, and I'm just like sitting on a bunch of them, because most of you know. So yeah. Anyway, like as part of that too, like we do have plans to like make the sealed collecting like interesting and like give you a reason to like think about whether you do want to open them or not, or whether you want to just like hold on to them. I can't give like any specifics around any of that,
Mm-hmm.
but it there's something there's something awesome about having to think about the trade-offs and the game theory behind like keeping items or opening them or whatever. Like that's ultimately that's what makes it fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is you're playing this game with yourself where it's like, do I wanna crack open this box or not?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And why? Right? And then like whatever your reasoning for doing that is like, you know, is I think what makes games like really fun. Like everybody's gonna have their own reason for doing it, or not. Um, and that's what makes it cool, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, do I want a master set? Do I want to whatever, like
Mm-hmm.
so there's all sorts of different things. Like, do I want to trade this to somebody else for some other reason? Like,
Right.
all sorts of different things like that. So,
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I'm just so excited for that. So, well, anyway, I've taken too much of your time here, but I do have one final question that Friend Church gave me this idea. So shout out to him for that. But I asked him for kind of an ending question to ask the next person, which happens to be you, and then after that,
Oh,
I'll
nice.
I'll see what question you want to ask to the next person. But what he wanted to know was if you could travel somewhere, where would it be and why?
Oh, I mean, I have like two. I have like two. Does it have to be a real place?
We're kind of just making things up, so no.
Okay.
That's
I'm immediately like thinking about, okay, how do I thread this into our game?
okay.
Um, and so I mean, this will give me kind of an opportunity to talk a little bit about what we're doing.
Okay.
All right. So I'm immediately like, it's kind of like cliche, and I'm like cringing at even thinking about bringing it up. But what I'm actually gonna say, because I think it would be a fun thing to talk about, is like, I we're working behind the scenes a lot on the 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 world of Origins. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like the story behind the characters, the world that they live in, um, like how they interact with each other, like
Mm-hmm.
what that world like looks and feels like, and all of these things, with like
Mm-hmm.
plans to continually expand upon that.
Mm-hmm.
And so my cringe answer is like travel to, at least right now, travel to the world of Origins. And the reason why I think is just because the more that we work on it, the more excited I get about seeing more of how that's going to unfold,
Mm-hmm.
even as it's in like the very, very like, like the infancy of being um developed, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and we've already done a ton of work on it, and we have a great idea, like so many ideas on like, okay, what's Winnie the Pooh's story, what's like Snow White's story in our world, or Dracula, you know um and so yeah, that's kind of like the, again, like the cliche, potentially cringe answer is like, but it's true. I actually do want to experience our game world, and I'm really excited to experience a lot of that for myself as
Mm-hmm.
we introduce more content and media around these characters in the future.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think that's a great answer because I remember. I mean, it's a good answer, but maybe a little bit of a cop out. I'll give you that. But it's a good answer because I remember, like,
yeah,
watching Pokemon, playing Pokemon, and that was like the dream was to live in the world of
yeah,
Pokemon. So being able to like
yeah,
build that and in some ways experience it is just a super cool process as a whole. So I think that's a great
yeah.
answer.
It
We'll
is.
see. Maybe
Yeah.
Fenchurch will get offended since it's his question, but I'll let you
he
take
might.
that up with
He
him.
might. I mean,
Okay.
my close second answer to that would actually be like the world of Pokemon, or just
Mm-hmm.
like Japan. But
Mm-hmm.
the the true answer that probably interviews better is definitely the world of Origins, because I'm really excited to see it like actually start to come to life more and more as we've
Mm-hmm.
been working on it, which we are actively, working on,
Mm-hmm.
um, doing at the same time. And my goal is for us to have some media that starts telling those stories like very, very, very soon, like ASAP,
Mm-hmm.
which I think will be really exciting and fun for the people who have heard us talk about it. But it's one of those things where it's like always really amorphous, like as you talk about it, right? And then as soon as you like see it, you're like, oh wow, this is like, it like um it clicks for
Mm-hmm.
people. So I'm really excited for that moment.
Yeah, no, I'm also a little bit of a League of Legends player, unfortunately. And when they were able to like create their world and bring you in more in depth into the lore using, um, I just forgot
Yeah.
the name of the show,
Arcane.
Arcane,
Yeah, no,
exactly.
Arcane is insane. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, so just that kind of thing is always super interesting to me. So, um, no, I think that's great. But okay, so to wrap it up, what would your question for the next person I do an interview with?
Oh man, I think immediately I go to, what's your favorite game mechanic and why? Especially if it's going to be to a question to a dev on the team.
Hmm. Okay,
And am
what's
I allowed to give my answer too?
sure? Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I don't favorite is a tough word, but one of my favorite game mechanics of all time is from a game called Gears of War.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you're familiar with that game at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's the active reload um mechanic from that game. I think that game like low key sucks without that specific mechanic
Okay.
because it threads together and adds this like additional dimension to every single fight that you go into on like whether you want to try to hit the active reload or not. Um and I just think the risk reward and the payoff of that is awesome, and it's very simple as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is such a simple mechanic in presentation and the player knowing what to do,
Mm-hmm.
but it adds so much to that game, right? And
Yeah.
it creates these like really high moments and also really low moments, like where it's like you miss it and you gun jam and you're
Mm-hmm.
like and you die, you like hate everything. But if you hit like a really good active reload,
Mm-hmm.
you get the faster reload and you get empowered shots. And so I just think that it's such a elegant game mechanic. I love it. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I mean,
Every
some.
time I talk about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, man, genius.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like it's seems pretty simple, but it adds so much to the gameplay. And honestly, I
Yep.
would kind of use that as a way of describing some of the gameplay and mechanics and origins where like on paper you look at it, it just looks way less complex than Hearthstone, for example. I mean, I don't play Hearthstone, but like part of what keeps me away from other TCGs is how complicated it can seem and kind of hard to get into. Origins to me is super straightforward on paper, and then you start playing it and you realize there's a lot of little things that you have to get right every game or else you're just going to lose probably. So I don't know if you feel the same way, but yeah, it's kind of has a lot of little hidden mechanics that really add to the overall experience, I'd say.
Yeah, I think that the best game designs are like that. Um, like general. Now, obviously, you can't always hit that, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
like game development design is like it's so extraordinary complicated. At least because there's so many moving parts and so many things that are vying for um attention and resources, right? It's not as simple as it's never like a binary decision because whenever you do one thing, it affects like 15 or 20 other things potentially.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're always trying to figure out how to solve all those problems. And for me as somebody who it's like my first studio, that's been like a really like profound like realization is that
Mm-hmm.
like how many different trade-offs there are, and they're not even just like one dimensional where it's like you know they're usually multi-dimensional, and there's a lot of reasons why you know you wouldn't want to do certain things. But
Mm-hmm.
it's and what it's highlighted, at least for me, is that when you can pull off a simple elegant design that really makes gameplay feel meaningful
Mm-hmm.
with like big payoff and trade-off, active reload being a brilliant example. That's like chef's kiss design, right?
Mm-hmm.
um so because that mechanic doesn't work in a bunch of other games too. That's the other thing. Even shooters, like it just wouldn't work um for so many reasons. And so anyway, without going too deep down the rabbit hole, you know I love that kind of stuff. I think it's amazing. I just like geek out over it.
Yeah, no, it's super interesting to have like something super basic that just packs a much bigger punch than it should just because it's designed so well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what makes you guys such a good team. You're so knowledgeable about, whether it's other TCGs or just games in general. I think you guys, just from talking to you the small amount that I've been able to, yeah, you guys just have such a good background in games and you're so smart about your approach to creating them. So, well, thank you so much for your time. This has been really, it's been a blast. We're almost at like 35 minutes here, so I'll try to let you go. But yeah, I appreciate what you are doing with the game, and I appreciate you taking time out of your day to join me here. And thank you for the games.
Yeah, man. No worries, Pseudo. Pleasure to be here. Appreciate you like reaching out to the team and doing these. Um, we love it and encourage anybody who's listening. Just we're very big. Like some people don't know this, and I'll close with this, but the studio name Coin Games comes from a Greek word that I'm gonna butcher, but it's like koinonia, which basically means community. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously we're nobody's ever going to be perfect in this, but we take very seriously like trying to build with the people who love our game as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
One, because we think it'll make a great game, but two, it's also fun and enriches like our day to day as like developers.
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, and so we're always looking to chat with, learn from, and interact with our community and take feedback. So, please hit us up on Discord or even individually. Um, we're always open to that. Interviews, whatever, like all that stuff. Whenever we can make time, of course, right? So,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love it. All right. Well,
cool.
thank you so much, and have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, man.